guys, it's Jay Chardonnay. If you're new here, hi. If you're not new here, hi. Long time no see, I know. And today is not my usual content. It's more of like my job content today. With that being said, let's get to this video. So for those who don't know, I am active duty military. I work in the Navy. I'm in IT. Along with that, I am currently 9 months pregnant, and I got a comment the other day asking that I talk about this because apparently this person is quite possibly expecting, and they wanted to know the process of what happens about being pregnant in the military. So I can only really speak for Navy. I'm pretty sure each branch does maternity and paternity super different. I'm not dual military, so I can't speak on like what my husband would be doing in the military because he's not in the military. But I can speak on the womanly side and on the maternity leave side. So step one, you found out you're pregnant. Hip hip freaking hooray, or my condolences or congratulations. I don't know, but you find out you're pregnant. You get that positive pregnancy. You get your positive pregnancy test. Well, the first thing that you do, and what I did, was I immediately got it confirmed with the military OBGYN, and right then and there, they'll have you test there as well to confirm it. They'll give you an approximate due date. You'll go through the whole like when's your last month's period, all this and the other. Yes, you are pregnant. Here's your due date, and they're going to give you a pregnancy letter. The pregnancy letter is there to confirm with your chain of command that you are indeed pregnant. So when I say you are going to take that letter to the chain of command, by your chain of command I mean your LPO, your LCPO, your DIVO. They all need to now know that you are with child, and especially if you were on the ship, they need to know that you're with child, because at a certain point in time, at 20 weeks, you are not allowed to be on that ship. Once you hit 20 weeks pregnancy, you need to be off that ship. So do not forget though, they can't hold you for 20 weeks. They shouldn't. Most commands don't like to do that because if something happens, it can look really bad on them. But the instruction does say they can keep you on the ship for up to 20 weeks. So as far as your pregnancy letter, you're going to see that you are restricted from doing a lot of things. One of them is like you won't do your PRTs for the year. Obviously, you kind of can. And if you're in my case, even if you could, you have really bad sciatica, you can't move. It's lots of things could happen. Absolutely no deployments. No deployments for obvious reasons. You can't stand long standing watches, like if you have to patrol or any of that, you cannot do that anymore. No weapons. You are not allowed to operate weapons in pregnancy status. And depending on your care, limited working hours. Depending on what they say for you specifically, that is a case-by-case basis. So usually after your command gets that pregnancy letter, they get the notice that you are pregnant, they usually start working pretty fast to get you off the ship. My first pregnancy, they worked extremely fast. I was off the ship within a week. My last command, they had me go on like 2 underways, and I was really, really not for that. It was such a conniption. I ended up having to file a semio case because it was done so distastefully and so wrong, and I don't know if she thought that was my first baby, but there was a lot of lying going on in my master chief area. But nonetheless, I got off the ship with my second at like 7 weeks pregnant or something like that. It took a little longer. So after that initial, they start the process of getting you off the ship. You will be beginning your pregnancy appointments, which is all your ultrasounds, your OBG checkups. They still do in the military. They do the regular glucose testing. They do the NIPT test. You can find out the gender that way. They do just about any and everything. They change it up every so often because of limited nurses and all that kind of stuff. And like they'll do your usual growth scans. They will do pretty much anything that a regular OBGYN will do, and then more. It just depends on availability. Sometimes they'll send you to a different base or a different doctor to do checkups. I know with this baby right now, he's my biggest baby, so, and I'm only 5'2". On a good day, I'm like 120 pounds. Right now I'm up 144. And as somebody who's been trying to gain weight. But with this baby, he's a bit smaller than what he should be just because I'm small. So the naval OBGYN had to do a late growth scan and had to send me somewhere out in town that specializes in high risk growth scans and stuff like that. So that's what I say when I mean sometimes they will take you out of their care so you can receive adequate care somewhere else. Also too with that, you're usually in limb due status, so you're not really doing too much. I know that my shore command, they will send you to a shore command. I know that my shore command, they do cleaning stations, and once I hit a certain weeks and I was experiencing too much pain, I just stopped. I couldn't. They're not, especially on shore, they're not going to push you to do things that you genuinely cannot do, or things that might be pushing it. Like I know, for instance, working as an IT, we get a lot of packages for monitors, big monitors that come in. I'm the only girl in my office. The chief that I did have, she left already, but she was not having me carry nothing. All of the boys in my office would not let me carry nothing. Like they're very much like, don't do anything. So technically it's up to the command's discretion, but I am able to leave work 2 weeks ahead of my induction date because I am getting induced. But it's up to the command discretion whether they want you to have like that late nesting period, or whether you work up until you're in labor, you give birth. What happens though is once you are discharged from the hospital, that's when your leave will start. It's not when you're in labor, it's not when you get to the hospital, and it's not when you have your baby. It starts the day of discharge. So you kind of have like those 3 free days while you're in the hospital, even though it's not free, you're in the hospital. But it doesn't start until the moment you get discharged from the hospital. Unfortunately, it is going to be up to you to like send the paperwork that your command needs, because you technically really don't have to pre-route anything. Admin can do it for you. But once the baby is born and you're discharged from the hospital, that is when your convalescent leave will begin. Okay, so I had to go back and reread the instruction, but for the leave policies, we get a total of 18 weeks in total. This is paid, and it doesn't take any of your actual leave. This is basically free money leave, and you're still saving your regular leave while you're on maternity leave. So it's 18 weeks in total. You get 6 weeks of maternity convalescent leave, 12 weeks of like bonding leave, which I'm pretty sure that's the regular maternity primary parent leave. So you do have 6 weeks to recover, and then you have the 12 weeks to bond with your baby, to get, you kind of need a little bit more time anyways. So in total though, you get 18 weeks of paid leave. It doesn't affect your actual leave days. Those are all free. And then you're with your baby. I do know while you're in the hospital, they will give you all the information that you'll need as far as getting your birth certificate, as far as the process for getting the social security number. All of that, they hand it straight to you in the actual hospital. I do know like the process just to get the social security card and the birth certificate, super easy. It doesn't take much. It's so easy. The only thing about it is just the waiting period for certain things to arrive, like their social security card. On the sides, they do offer lots of classes and lots of help for breastfeeding, for postpartum. They offer so many different things. You just have to take advantage of it. Also in the military, once you do have your baby, you will have that 24 to 48 week checkup for your infant. It's not necessarily for you. They'll ask how you feel, make sure like you're not, losing your mind or nothing, but it's primarily for the baby, just to make sure that their jaundice is down, nothing's crazy happening, all the parts seem to be working and good and in order. You really won't truly get evaluated until that 6-week checkup, which they basically just ask you, hey, do you feel good? Like, I've had 2 natural births, and I didn't tear anything, so I didn't have any stitches or anything of that nature. But I would assume that if that is the case, if you did get stitches or anything like that, they would probably check up on it or take a look down there to see if everything's functioning and formally and the stitches are falling out where they need to be, that kind of stuff. I assume that they do take care of you in that way, but I've never experienced it, so I can't really speak too heavily on it. Also in the Navy, they do supply you your own things like a breast pump. Like I have the Spectra, pretty sure I have the Spectra S1 pump, and they give you a piece of paper where it's like, take a picture of this, send it to any of these websites, choose your pump. There are some super fancy ones that you might just have to pay the difference for, but the military does give you a whole list of pumps. All you got to do is just send in that paperwork. Like they'll ask, the place that they gave us, they asked just for the actual, like, hey, this is a pump voucher basically, and that's how we ended up getting our Spectra. So the military does give you options, you're not stuck with just one singular hospital pump or anything like that. One of the biggest things that they don't tell you too though is when you do first find out that you're pregnant, you should probably put your baby on the MCC wait list. If you don't know what the MCC is, it is a military child care. Put your baby on the wait list. Even if you just found out. Even if you just found out. The only reason I waited like really long, look, I got 2 kids already and a husband. I got a lot going on. But the only reason why I waited a little bit longer is just because I already had 2 children in the daycare. They recognized me. Our baby will be perfect. It'll get in. But if it's like your first or your second as well, definitely immediately put your baby on that wait list. The wait list is so long, and that's why I'm saying, like, I would do it no later than 12 weeks pregnancy. I would do it no later than 12 weeks being pregnant. Put your baby on that wait list. Their wait list can go up to like 24 months. Put your baby on the wait list as soon as you can, even if something unfortunate happens. Another thing that they might have you do is go ahead and set up your family care plan. A family care plan is really for, I believe, if you're a single sailor, because let's say, you know, you're back on shore duty in a year, 2 years, whatever, because you can request to go back to a ship early. And you're still, you know, you're not legally married, or maybe like you're not with the father of said child, they're going to have you do something called a family care plan, which just means if you're going off on deployment, who is going to be in charge of your child? Who are you giving a POA to? A POA is a power of attorney. Who is in charge of making the decisions for you when you're gone? That is super important. When you're married, they don't really ask for it because obviously it's assumed that your husband or partner will be making those choices for you while you're gone. Also, you are able to get maternity clothes. I have a clip somewhere that I can put. I was making a TikTok about my maternity wear and getting ready for work, but you are able to get maternity clothes. Unfortunately, those things are so limited, especially if you are a smaller than average woman. An extra small maternity uniform is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It is so hard to find it. The one that I have was like gifted to me, and I had to put like my name on it and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't spend any money on it. And that's like my regular, like, in Dubs maternity uniform. I don't have any of the other maternity uniforms, and I've been pregnant 3 times. I have no other maternity uniforms because, quite frankly, it is hard to find. You cannot find them, like, at all. And quite frankly, they're useless. You don't really wear any other uniform besides your N-dubs when you're on maternity leave. Maybe your peanut butters, you might wear those. You might be able to find them, but they're hard and they are pricey. But you are able to get a maternity uniform allowance, or you can opt for, I think they give you like a bag of maternity clothes, but you have to turn those back in at the end. So they're not necessarily yours. I like to have mine. I usually go ahead and opt for the maternity allowance uniform because if I can find it, great. If I can't, probably not going to use them anyways. I feel like I hit all the topics, but I definitely do just want to put some things out there that I feel like just keep these things in mind as you continue your pregnancy through active duty, especially in the Navy. You cannot be punished for pregnancy. I know the way that the world is right now and how some people, especially if it's like a little too close to deployment, some people are like, using this to get out, whatever. You cannot be punished for pregnancy. It's not going to happen. And if it does somehow happen, you can for sure file complaints. But you're not going to be punished for being pregnant. You're still a woman. You have a family. You have a husband, or however you got pregnant. Don't let them make you feel bad for being pregnant. That is a natural bodily womanly function. Don't let them make you feel bad. Also, your appointments, those are duty. That is a duty to be there. That is your place of duty. That is where you're supposed to be. It's not leave. It's not something that you can just reschedule for your pregnancy. Appointments are places of duty. Do not let them ask you to keep rescheduling appointments. Don't even let them ask you to reschedule once. Okay? These appointments are set in certain times throughout your pregnancy for a reason. Do not let them bully you into thinking that appointments like this, your maternity and your pregnancy appointments, are something that can just be rescheduled like a dental appointment. No. Appointments are a place of duty. Be there, and don't let them try to bully you to change your appointment times to benefit them. And also, always advocate for yourself. Always, always, always advocate for yourself. The way that I have been very much like, do not play with me. Advocate for yourself, especially if you are a woman of color. Advocate for yourself. Advocate, advocate, advocate. Your pregnancy, your life, all that, it matters. It matters the most. Your health matters the most. Advocate, advocate, advocate. If you think something is not right, ask those questions. No one is going to punish you, or no one's going to think differently than they already do of you if you ask questions and advocate for yourself. So I think that is it. I feel like I might have missed some things, but if I did, just let me know in the comments. I'm 9 months pregnant. I don't have the best memory right now. But I really do think I covered as much as I could remember. And I really do hope this video helped you, especially the one who commented and asked. I really do wish I had some guidance on my first one. But now I'm 3 babies in. I'm a senior for this. Like, this come easy now at this point. So I really hope this was really informative. And I hope you guys like it. Please like, comment, subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.